Introduction to percents. Introduction. This lesson introduces the concept of percent, including the relation of percents to equivalent fractions and decimal numbers. Understanding percents. The word percent means per hundred. The symbol used to indicate percent is this symbol right here. For example, 35% means 35 per 100. Every percent can be written as a fraction. For example, 35% is equal to 35 over 100. Write a percent as a decimal. Percents can also be written as decimal numbers. To write a percent as a decimal, you can first write the percent as a fraction, and then convert the fraction to a decimal. Recall that to convert from a fraction to a decimal, we divide the numerator, the dividend, by the denominator, the divisor. So 35 over 100, as that's our 35% as a fraction, is 35 divided by 100, which is 0.35. And remember, when you divide by 100, the decimal point in the number, which in 35 is here, moves back however many zeros you have after the 1. So it moves back 2 places, and you end up with 0.35. And this is written here. You also learned earlier that when dividing by a multiple of 10, we can move the decimal point of the dividend to the left as many places as there are zeros in the divisor. In the case of the percent, the divisor is always 100, so the conversion is a simple case of dropping the percent symbol and moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. Recall that in a whole number, the decimal point is to the right of the ones digit. For example, 12% is 12 decimal point. And we still have a percent, of course. Well, we remove the percent. That's the case here, and then we move the decimal back 2 places. So now this is equal to this. Study the examples below. Write 23% as a decimal. First, we remove the percent sign. We put a decimal on 23, and then we move the decimal back 2 places. Write 4.9% as a decimal. So there's our 4.9%. We remove the percent sign, move the decimal back 2 places. Now notice here, when you move the decimal back 2 places after you move the percent sign, there's a 0 here. That's why it's 0.049. Write 0.78% as a decimal. Move it back twice, and we have 0.0078. This is easy. Write a decimal as a percent. To write a decimal as a percent, simply reverse the procedure for writing percents as decimals. Move the decimal point and the decimal number 2 places to the right and add the percent symbol. Write 0.67 as a percent. Move the decimal place to the right and add the percent symbol. Write 1.24 as a percent. Move the decimal point to the right and add a percent symbol. That's as easy as it gets. And then we have 0.058 as a percent. We move the decimal point to the right, 5.8, and put on a percent sign. Yay! Now it's our turn. Write 1.3% as a decimal. So first, we remove the percent sign. We move the decimal back 2 places, and we end up with 0.013. Write 154% as a decimal. We remove the percent sign, and we move the decimal back 2 places, and we get 1.54. Write 0.0099 as a percent. Now we do the reverse. We move the decimal place over 2 places and put a percent sign on it, and we get 0.99%. This brings us to the end of the lesson on Introduction to Percents. Please make sure to work through this lesson at your own pace and work well. Yay!